Hello. Hello,
Hey,
everyone. Hi, Mark. Hi, Jace.
Hey,
how's it going?
It's going good. How about you guys?
can't
Gold.
complain.
Nice. Hi, Kevin. So, nice. Finally, we made it to our prior discussions.
Yeah,
Quite a time. Yeah. Awesome. We don't have Harneet with us today. He had some personal issues and he couldn't join us. So, we'll be just kicking off with us three. This and quite an interesting topic to go through, right?
yeah,
So, Chat GPT. It's been around for quite a while, and people are just going crazy. If I open LinkedIn, right, it like there's this post, everyone creating APIs, virtual agent, portal, and whatnot. They're just
yeah.
doing every sort of stuff over there. So yeah, we'll just go with a quick round of introductions and kick off. So Jess, we start with you.
Sure, I'm Jace. I've been working on ServiceNow since forever ago, but most recently, I built a tool called Scribe Monster, built using AI. And I bet that's why I'm here,
Yep, Mark.
or whatever way whoever's next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Scott. I am a senior platform architect at Now Learning. Yeah, I've been in the ecosystem less time than Jace has. I think Jace has got me on a few years, but I have created a startup called Zenbe, which is doing social media and Chat GPT. So that's why I'm here.
Amazing. So, hello everyone. Myself Ishan. I'm a senior technical consultant working with Third Era, and I have just played around with the Chat GPT for like a couple of requests, like type me a sick leave email and all that. But I haven't created any sort of stuff. But we have got two, great people over here. Topic we'll be talking about what they have created, and I'm what I've seen is like it's great stuff. So let's get into it. So,
Yeah.
like what is like Chat GPT, like Mark and Jace? Like I have read about it a bit and played around with it as well. But just like what's your point of view on that?
I mean, ChatGPT is a specific model that OpenAI provides that people can ask questions to, and it gives answers back.
Yeah,
It's I they haven't I don't know that it's public how they've made it do what it does, but you can make a lot of good guesses at what it's doing if you have messed with these large language models.
And
nice.
I think that's the big thing. Like Chat GPT is kind of like saying iPhone, right? Like, back in the day, everyone said iPhone for smartphone, right? Chat GPT is OpenAI's, it's their IP. So when we say Chat GPT, what we really mean is it's a chatbot, but it's a really well trained chatbot. And that's kind of the difference, is that this chatbot has done, far and above what a lot of the other ones have done. And so that's what kind of got everybody's attention, is this. It's almost Turing complete. Like you can almost, like there's a little bit to it where you just kind of, it doesn't quite get things right, but it is almost a completely Turing complete like experience.
I mean, it passed the bar,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right? Like, I don't know. I'm
yeah,
curious, would it pass a certified system administrator test?
it
It
can.
it might. I mean, it might if you train it with enough data, right? It
I
can
mean, the
it
way
can
it
come up.
sits, I'd be curious if it would pass it.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it'd have to be like an oral exam, right? It'd have to be someone asking the questions. It wouldn't. You couldn't click the buttons.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, we write code for a living. We can have it click buttons.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it won't be passing the Delta exams, because
Hmm.
it's until 2021 right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But there's ways to make it so it's smarter. Not ChatGPT specifically, but you
right,
can do stuff so it's more real time.
nice. And yeah, so how does it sits within the ServiceNow system? Like again, coming back to what I was just saying, that I've been seeing people integrating it with the virtual agent, or like it's got an API. We can use it with a lot of ways that we want to, but in the what's how can we fit in with the ServiceNow system, and use Chat GPT around the same? Any thoughts on that? So
I mean, I think virtual agent is it's the obvious choice, right? If you can like just take the NLUs, take all the training data out, like you don't need any of it. It's just like just hook it to this. From a how useful will that be? I don't know, because what's going to end up happening is it's going to learn things, and it's going to kind of there's a setting called temperature, and the temperature of some of the, like, sometimes you have to like let it go and it gets kind of wild, and then sometimes you're like, I'm going to reel it in, and then it gets way too specific, and I think there's a balance between where can it go into the platform. Like there's some, I see some production capabilities, and I see some other like maybe I wouldn't do that. So when someone says, oh, I'm going to put it into the virtual agent, I'm like, that's cool, but what would be neat is if it was like classifying incidents or doing tier 1 support, just from like, I need to help, password reset. I think it'd be cool, like not just to see it in like the conversational side, but to actually put like a business case to it.
Yep. Yeah. So,
I mean, ServiceNow did, like years ago, they made their own text classification or categorization. I don't know what they call it. I haven't dug into it. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, they had required 10,000 records to train their cortex so it could assign stuff appropriately.
Right.
And that's as far as I got with it. 10,000 records to me was like, that's just way too much. Like categorizations change more often, in my opinion, than that happens. And so I never really looked into it. But now I'm curious. I want to see how that works.
Well, there's what's funny is there's all these tools now that are coming out in the same realm of, so if I don't know, maybe not, if you're not building some startup, you're not trying to like expose ChatGPT to the public, you might not know this, but OpenAI has a completely free moderation API where you can type text in and it will give you the like how mean that was, like it'll give you a ranking if it's negative or positive, like that, let's just say even 2 years ago, right, you would be paying an API to do that. This and they're just like, this is just like a footnote where they're like, oh yeah, throw all the prompts through here and make sure that it's not violating our moderation policies. Like it's like this free open API, anyone can use it. So there's even more kind of application to this than I think a lot of people are even realizing.
Yeah. Nice. And like OpenAI isn't the only one with these kinds of APIs.
Right.
Like there's another company called Cohere AI, which will let you tokenize a string. I think that's a free API from them. I'm not sure. I've been looking at alternatives to OpenAI because I'm curious what other ones offer.
Right. From an integration standpoint, if you're looking to integrate, OpenAI is the way to go. Like it's the easiest one out there, in my opinion. Like I haven't found a better API. It's okay. It's not exactly RESTful. There's some limitations to it, but from a get up and go, it's like API key. You get $20 for free, and then you go and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean AI21 and Cohere are very similar.
Are they? Okay, I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, I think going forward they won't be free, right? Like similar to like YouTube, they got us addicted to YouTube Music and stuff, and it's now like a mandate paid subscription that you have to give if you don't want ads. So it's similar to, I think that's the way the ChatGPT is going forward, like, right?
Yeah, well, I could tell there's been some instability in the APIs from OpenAPI, and from someone that's paying them to like keep the API up, I'm like, okay, guys, let's get this figured out, because Microsoft just put $10 billion into your product, so hopefully the APIs will be a little bit more stable.
Yeah, I think Google is also coming up with something on the same lines. I read somewhere on the news a couple of days back. So
you don't have to use OpenAI though. You can use Microsoft directly.
Well, and you don't even have to use a third party, because Jace, you and I were messing around with this stuff. You had a server that you were running that was just in your house, and you were making calls back and forth, right?
I was running Stable Diffusion. That was
it wasn't text completion. Okay, so it's a little different.
Text completion is way more intensive. There are some open source projects to do text completion locally, but I found them very difficult to use. I should revisit that topic though, now that I'm way more versed in how this stuff works, because I haven't looked into it since October.
Nice. We
Might be
do
something
have a
out there.
question. I think the answer is yes, but do we have a limit? How much data? I think 3 times or 3 calls.
All of these RESTful AI sources, Cohere, AI21, OpenAI, they all restrict your messages in and your messages back to a token limit. And I don't think it's how they are like planned to make it work, but I think it's a limitation of how this large language model stuff works. But a token it's a part of a word or phrase, and it's what the large language model would guess would be the next best thing said after your question. And so on the older models, the token limit was like 2,000 tokens. And they say a token is approximately 3 to 4 characters or a word. But it's different depending on the language. English, the tokens are bigger than like Spanish for some reason.
Right.
And it's interesting.
The other thing to think about is the API. It will hold open a connection. So if you jam a whole 20 paragraphs down there, it'll take it and then it'll sit there and classify on it and do whatever you tell it to do, but it'll take a while, right? So a lot of times what'll end up happening, so this is the way, like if you're thinking about it from an architectural standpoint, right? I tried to go like a pub sub model where I would emit an event and then it would come back and then I would just read the response back when it was ready. And that's what I found out. Like with OpenAI, if you can shove as much stuff as you want down there, but then you're going to be sitting there waiting for it to classify, and it's going to take a while. And that can kind of be an issue when you're dealing with APIs, and especially with HTTP, and the connections can time out. That's just be aware that the classifications can take a while, and your connection could potentially time out in an API if you're not limiting the amount of space you're putting in there.
That's interesting you bring up the pub sub model. I haven't thought about that. All of my calls are purely straight there. Like if it dies, it dies. There's not much I can do.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might also depend on the third party system that we are doing the call with. It might not accept that long token. There would be a restriction. Like I think ServiceNow also has one, or on the amount of data coming in as a part of one request. So might have to take care of that as well. So
I would imagine it's a Linux backing, because I think they've got a Docker swarm that they run in the back end there. I don't know how their actual architecture works, but yeah, if it can't be handled in a Unix system, it probably can't handle it anywhere.
Yeah.
Nice. So Jace, Mark, would you like to walk us through Scribe Monster and Zenbe? So
yeah. Do you want to go first, Mark?
No, you go ahead.
All right. So Scribe Monster is my way of learning AI. Seriously, I mean, that's how I best learn things, is if I build something with it. And so back in November when I found ChatGPT, I was like, this is really interesting. Who made this? How does this work? Oh, OpenAI made it. Oh, they got APIs. Let me see what these things are. Oh, they have a playground. Oh, this is kind of neat. And I was like, well, I want to build something. And so like many, if you've been watching LinkedIn, people are like, oh, you can integrate ServiceNow and ChatGPT, but they're doing it like with a UI action or business role. I'm like, but that's not going to be useful for most people. Let me throw in an extension. I'm going to copy Arnold Coy's SN Utils way, just make an extension. And let me pop it up and show you what it is. So if you go to Scribe Monster, I'm going to log out and pull up my screen. If you go to ScribeMonster.com, I got to find the button. You can make an account quickly.
So, Jace, are you sharing?
I haven't yet.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
Right? You'll land on a page like this. you can click on get the extension. You get the extension from the Chrome store, which has 300 users so far, which is wow, right?
That's huge. Wow.
Yeah.
And then you can sign up with your name, an email, and a password. I'm going passwordless this week. It's going to be an event. I'm excited.
I love the placeholder text.
Yeah, that gets a comment every time. Once you sign up, you'll be given an API key effectively through Scribe Monster, where I massage your prompts and I tell it to do stuff with it. But let me show what it does in an instance here. So I've already got Scribe Monster installed on my browser. I don't know. You can't see that. I have to pop it out to show you. So in my, I can't even show it that way. 1 second here. I have to change what I'm sharing.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
In the pop-up that it shares, if you're on like a screen share like this and you're sharing a window,
It's a different context.
it doesn't share the pop-up from it. So it is a pain. So here is what the pop-up looks like when you click on it. Right? It comes in here, you put in your username, your API key. This is going to change email here this week. And then this domain is for me because when I'm running it locally, I run the local host. And then it's got some other features up here, which we can go into where you can ask it questions or have it summarize text or try to have it make some like documentation for you, which is really cool because it does stuff like that. But that's all in the address bar there. It doesn't interface with the instance. The instance looks more like this. Just gotta get one more place.
nice.
So on the instance, it doesn't add a whole lot of stuff, but I've added it to a bunch of, I'm just going to go to my favorites. I'm going to a client script, but it adds it to a bunch of the out-of-box field or tables, right? So client scripts, business rules, script includes, those kinds of things. And what it does is it adds this button down here. It used to be here, but I just put it down here. And when you click on this, it opens up this dialogue. And it's got a whole bunch of stuff in here. I want to clean this up, but right now this is what it is. So you can give it a prompt to create some code. It knows the context that you're on a client script. It also knows that you're on whatever type of client script. I didn't pick the client. It did, but it didn't take it, I guess. In any case, you can tell it to load in like the script field, right? And it'll pull in the script data. And you can say, oh, tell me what this does. Explain this text. And of course, it's not going to work today. That's fantastic.
Demo gremlins.
That's what's happened, right? Like whenever guests arrive at our home, there's no electricity. So, right.
Yeah.
I've been constantly messing with this, so I'm guessing that I screwed something up in my last push, maybe.
And I've got a renewed respect for a nude because like pushing this to the Chrome store, it takes sometimes. Google's like, I've got it done in like 6 hours. And then sometimes it'll hold it in there for like 3 days. And like, you never know. And you're like, oh man, I hope I didn't screw that code up because it'll take 2 days to get into everybody's browser. Like, oh man, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I screwed something up with my most recent push. So I guess it's a big fail for me on this side.
Oh no.
No, this.
But if you want to see it, if you go to the Chrome store, there's a video of it. I'll have it fixed, I'm sure, by tonight or tomorrow. But it normally would explain the code for you, or edit the code for you, or create new code for you.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Such is life when you're learning stuff. I'm learning all sorts of things: Chrome extension development and these AI things and chaining requests, and it is quite amazing. Oh, there is one thing though that definitely does work because I checked it out before. Do you want to see a feature that's coming but not there yet?
Ooh, sneak peek.
Yeah. All right. This is the only place it's going to be showing so far.
'Cause it's
Of course,
localhost.
I went away from the window, and right now it's locked down to people with admin role in my system.
Oh,
So if I go to scribemonster.ask, it's like a chatbot interface.
right.
And I've put in some things so it knows how to answer questions about ServiceNow. So do you have any question you'd like to ask it, Ishan?
When is the, I think the when is the knowledge 23 happening? Where is the
Oh
knowledge
Oh.
23 happening?
no.
Oh,
Yeah, I
this
think
this is
that's
not going to go well. Where
yeah,
is
so
knowledge? This for
Oh.
some reason this happens when I'm streaming.
so
Knowledge 2023 happening.
yeah, because
Is it gonna do it?
I don't know.
Let's see.
This is it. I can tell you what it's doing in the background. It rephrases the question and it does a query based on the things that I have. And then, this is totally failing.
Oh,
It was
no.
literally working. I don't know what I did. I screwed something up.
You started streaming.
I started streaming. Well, this is running out on the world, so I broke it. It's all broken. Don't look at my stuff today. Come back tomorrow. Check it out.
sure.
Oh,
It's a
Jace,
big fat flop. That's okay though.
I feel for you, buddy.
Yeah, happens with everybody these days. So even client demos sometimes.
Oh man. The last time I had a flop like this, I was trying to demo the Twilio integration with ServiceNow back in like 2015.
That was a hell of an integration too. Like that one was yeah, I did that one too.
Nice. So anyways, so Mark, do
Yeah.
you have anything that
Sure, yeah, I'd love to show you guys. So let me share my screen. All right, so I took a little marketing advice. So this is Zembi. Zembi's my extension, but also a website very similar to what Jace is doing. And I'm billing my website as the easiest way to try ChatGPT. This is our little demo page and our lander that you can try. And what it does is it's up to 5 words in here. I didn't want to do too much. So what do we do? Ice cream in summer. There we go. All right. So we're going to hit go on our way. Please hold. I've got my humor peppered throughout this entire website. So, so here we go. Nothing beats a scoop of cold ice cream or cold and creamy ice cream to cool down during the summer days. You can hit tweet, you can copy to the clipboard, but that's really kind of the demo. So that's what's out there in the world today. You can go and hit zembi.co/try, and you can try this yourself, and you can actually copy this and send a tweet or do whatever you want to do. Now, what am I going to go for launch? So for launch, what we're actually doing is the extension is built into Chrome, and within Chrome, we're going to inject a couple of buttons and a couple of cool things that I'll show off here. But my favorite here is the repost button. So I'll hit repost. It pops up and it says, give us a sec, and it's going to fill this out. Congratulations on your new role as ITAM practice director for Cask. So you could hit post and use that if you want. But I also inject this little Zembi button down here. So maybe this isn't exactly what you wanted. So you click the button again. See what happens. So congrats to my friend. You'd have to put the name in on the roll. All of this stuff is ready to go. You click the button and it's just here. That one's kind of fun. I'm going to discard this. But the other thing that's really neat is I inject another button in here. When you hit the comment button, I can click and hit comment. So if I've been commenting like a madman on you guys' stuff, you know what I'm doing. I'm actually testing. I'm going to hit post on this one because that one's pretty good. There we go. So there's comments, there's posts. I know remix. So let's say that I really, really, really enjoy Chuck's post here about Remarkable. So I'm going to hit remix. And what that's going to allow me to do is I can come on. There we go. It will take Chuck's post, it will copy it, it will rewrite it, and then I am ready to post it as if it was my own. remix. So there's that.
Nice.
I'm gonna discard that. I've got one last thing to do. So if I go to the Zembi blog, so we'll go to our blog. And let's say that I pick the very first blog post that we have here about SEO. The last place that this is integrated is if I right click, I have a little Zembi button here. I can hit create tweet or create LinkedIn post. We've been doing LinkedIn, so let's try tweet. It'll give me just a second. All right. And a new tweet will pop up auto-magically, ready to go. All right. There it is. It actually shared the link there. So because this is my blog, I don't shorten the URL. But if it was to be anybody else's, so I just pick a random, let's just say YouTube video, it shortens the URL for you. What that does for my users is then I can go into, sorry, my wrong one. Oh, I hope it's running. So this is the profile, but this actually allows you to, I'm tracking, oh no, localhost isn't working. That's all right. I'm tracking the clicks, so you can actually go through, you can see the analytics. I have a nice little graph and all of that. So let's do this one. Give it a second. So you can see all the analytics. You can see the total clicks. I've got breakdown by country, by city, by browser, by operating system. So this would be if I shared this out and then everybody, clicked on this. This is something that I shared on Twitter. And then these are all the clicks that I aggregated through that. Yeah. And then, just
Nice.
basic stuff like managing your profile and yada, yada, yada. So you can see your usage and when your license expires and et cetera, et cetera. And then I have a history of all of your sent, like if you click the button, so you can see this is where we clicked it. And then you can see here's Chuck's post in here. So yeah, that's everything I've been working on. It's
great. It's great. So feels like I should be also trying something, but let's see if I can.
No, come on. This is all like kind of, labor of love stuff. It's just, I'm teaching myself a new stack. That's been my big thing. So yeah.
I'm curious about that stack also.
Really? Okay. I mean, yeah. Sean, do you want to get into it?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, why not? So I wrote it all in Node.js. I've got Express for the web. I've got Fastify for the back, and Mongo is my DB. There's a couple of, I've got Cloudflare with some caching and yada, yada. Cloudflare workers are actually running all like my image resizing services so that like with the blog posts and stuff, I don't have to mess with like photoshopping a bunch of crap. And then I'm trying to think what else. The actual work is done from the Chrome extension through a service called Ably. It's a real-time messaging protocol. And that's what I was talking about, PubSub, right? So what happens is you click the button and then that little pop-up hits. And then I do a WebSocket request that's Ably's socket out to Ably. And then Ably talks to my background worker, which is also written in Node.js, but which is behind my firewall and nobody can actually access. It does the work and then it emits an event back because your client is listening for the event. And then that's what closes the browser, closes the little thing, and then pops your post in. But yeah, there's a lot of Node.js. There's a lot. And it's all hosted on Render. And then I've got a CI/CD pipeline all through GitHub Actions and a Cypress test that's testing both front end, back end, and my extension one day. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I went.
One of us here is a professional. The other one here.
Definitely.
Okay, so here's the thing. You guys are you're like, what? I used to build full stack applications for like that's what I did before I did ServiceNow work. So everyone's like, oh yeah, like no, I keep an eye on this stuff and I go and build little things. And then when I need to build something awesome, I have all this knowledge and it just flows around.
Yeah.
So I figured out why my stuff was broken.
Oh man, while you're on stream, that's awesome.
I did. I wasn't like really authentication. Remember I said I was changing my authentication up?
Oh yeah, I've been
well,
there.
Preemptively, I changed my username to my email address because that's what's going to happen. I didn't change it on my browser extension.
Oh no.
And I had logged out while I was sharing my screen.
Yep.
That's why the other thing didn't work. Would you guys? Can I redeem myself and show you that new feature? I won't go
Definitely,
into
yes.
anything else.
Yep.
I'm very excited about this new feature. I don't know if it's going to stay this way when I put it out there for everybody to use, because right now it's, like I said, it's locked down. But you had asked if it knew when knowledge or where knowledge 2023 is going to be, and so after I logged in, I asked it again. I think you meant where, because it rephrases your question, right? It doesn't know that it's been announced because I don't have any data in it about that. But we can ask it where the past ones were. Right?
Wait,
and like
normally, can you do oh, sorry.
What's that?
No, you should do can you do it like formatted as a list? Will it come out as like a ordered list?
It doesn't know. See, I don't think it has a lot of information about the knowledges.
Okay, let's think of another.
Let's think of a ServiceNow like topic.
Yeah.
I have typed in all of my blog content. There's a few other information in there too.
App Engine Studio, something.
Sure.
That's too recent though. Maybe. I don't know. Have you trained it with App Engine? Oh, because all of your content. Got it.
Okay. I loaded all of my blog stuff into it. So it's using that and it's doing some other stuff with it. It's kind of interesting. Like you might want the one I go to because I know it works well is asking about Glide Record, Glide Query, and Glide Record Secure, right?
Do it. Let's see.
Different in Glide Aggregate, right? What is like? You could ask it just like, what is the difference?
Yeah.
Right.
What about when should I use a script include?
Oh, sure. When should I use a script include?
Let's see.
It's still a work in progress, which is why like I have the thread IP exposed. And,
right.
I
think it takes time. Many times, like quite a bit, like even for a small result to return. So
I think you meant when should I include a script in my project? That's not what I meant, Stu. You're not supposed to rephrase it that way.
Well, I mean, it's not bad.
All right.
We have one from Kevin. List the different script types.
Different types of scripts. All right, the different types of scripts in ServiceNow. We'll see if it.
See what it does.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I got into how like you can search content with AI using vector searches with this, which is crazy. I feel like I just got a new superpower because
and so let's talk about that for a second while this is loading. I think what a lot of people like what's the future of ChatGPT or what what are we looking at from like the future? Holy cow.
Client scripts are scripts written in the language. To see this, it's got some stuff that's wrong here. I'm still whatever.
It's not bad.
It's pretty much there. Like so. Like,
well, you can't write in Java.
Right.
This stuff, and you can't write PHP in here.
Right.
But,
so I think the thing, Jace, that like even with this, it's not about what you're putting in, and that's what a lot of people I think get confused about. It's not about the input; it's about the prompt, right? Like you've got to massage that prompt just enough, and that's where I'm like, yeah, I'll show you guys all the stuff that I built because like my IP, my actual intellectual property is the templates, right? It's the prompt templates, and how do you get it to work just right in all these situations. I love that. Yay!
There's a reason. What is a vector search? You know what? I'm not going to do another question here because it's obviously it's not quite working. The reason it gave me the wrong answer though is look how it rewrote the question.
Yeah.
It rewrote it like this. And that might be because I didn't end it with a question mark.
Yeah.
Right? If I did it like this and I just did this, you would see if it answers it differently. Well, that's loading. A vector search is this. Imagine if you could take any bit of text and assign it a set of numbers. And those numbers you could then use to infer the meaning of that text. Like I could say, ice cream is cold. Then say, Ishan asked a question to this AI system and said, "Hey, what is some cold foods that I can eat?" Right? It could infer that he's asking for foods that are cold, just like the other thing was asking about cold foods, right? Or saying that ice cream is cold food. So what you do is you take those arrays of numbers and you multiply them together, and you get a number between 0 and 1 on how close it is to having the same meaning. And then you sort, if you have a bunch of stuff in a database, you would have all those embeddings, they call them, saved somewhere. And then you sort them like highest to lowest. And that gives you the closest response, the closest like set of data to your question. So that's a vector search. I guess it's called dot matrix.
I thought it was like, did you guys ever take linear algebra when you were in college? Like, oh my gosh, like I'm having flashbacks right now where he's like, then you multiply them together, and I'm like, it's not that simple. Like, you can't multiply two arrays together that easy. You got to do a whole bunch of weird stuff. Yeah.
I mean, so when I read it, I was also confused. It took me like a day or two to figure it out. But then I figured it out and I saw the numbers and my mind was blown.
I think I got a C in that class. That's just because
ServiceNow offers AI search. I'm guessing they saved their embeddings somewhere, but it's not in the platform that I can see. I had to troubleshoot it recently at work.
Yeah, there's taxonomies and a couple other things that it bases it off of. I know that for sure, but from a how does it exactly work? I don't know. We black boxed it in Now Learning and said that's a third-party system. And that's how we called into it, is we've got a third party that like database of all the search stuff. So yeah, I haven't done so much with search and AI search.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm curious because I don't know if it's doing it by like the entitlement stock says you get 500,000 documents indexed with that entitlement. If you want more, you can pay for more. But I don't know if like they're indexing the whole thing or individual statements or both. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause it's interesting.
You know what? OpenAI came out with an API, and I went, "Ooh, that's much easier than learning." I don't want to be a data scientist. I just want to like call into this API, and that's what's really cool about this stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a data scientist.
Yeah, so I piped in a bunch of stuff about ServiceNow. Obviously, it's not exactly right here.
Jace, how do you pipe stuff into this? Like, how do you train it? Is there like, do you have to put it into a special format? No. Okay. All right.
So there's two types of things. When you look at like, how do I make AI answer questions the way I want it to answer questions, right? One line of thought is using fine tuning. But that is the wrong thought from what I've read. I mean, I'm not an expert in this. I'm still learning. I could be wrong here. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But fine tuning is where you say, here is a question and here is the perfect completion for that question. And here's 49 other ones. Like here's at least 50 of them. And that's great if you want to train it how to do something, like how to teach it to do a task. Like maybe you want it to always respond with the temperature. Or like maybe you want to always respond with one of 5 categories, right? But you don't want to have a prompt to say these are the categories.
Right.
That'd be a great use case for like a fine tuning.
Got it.
What I'm doing here is I have a bunch of content in a database and I query it with the vector search.
Right.
And I say, give me the top 5, summarize them into smaller chunks, make that my context, and now answer my question based on that context.
Oh, that's why like it's it's going a bit here and there, I think, right?
Yeah. But you guys all nerded out because I was like, like I said a bunch of technology stuff. Like Jace is training his own like AI bot over here to take over the world. Like, I mean,
I'm following the work of other people like David Shapiro and them, but it's very interesting stuff. It's very cool.
Like a robotic Fred Luddy or something.
If you start thinking about how you think, it's really interesting. Like if you say a phrase and it triggers a memory, like just think about that for a minute. Somebody said something, it's like 1 or 3 words, and it triggered something that you're like, oh, I remember the time that I fell off the Grand Canyon, or I don't know, whatever.
A lot of people making back from that.
Well, okay. whatever. My point is, like, somebody would say something like, I don't know, ice cream is cold, and I would think of the time that I used to work at Dairy Queen, and somebody complained that their their banana split and like it melted because it was too hot outside because it was summer, and like, is there any rhyme or reason why that memory is the first one that came to mind that I just told you guys? No, but when you think about it, like, your brain is actively like thinking about other things, other memories, and like it's trying to figure out what you're looking for. And maybe it's coming back with a summary of those memories. Maybe it's coming back with a list. I don't know. I'm not a cognitive person like that, but this stuff has really gotten me thinking about like how the human brain really works.
I didn't need any more like I do process optimization in my head all the time where I'm like, okay, how do I go like to the grocery store, the gas station? Like I don't need any more. Like, how do I think? Yeah, that's.
But if you start thinking about how you think, you can start emulating that on a system.
I already do that. That's called object-oriented programming. I've already done that once. I'm not doing that again. I've heard this. I've heard this again like once before. No, just kidding.
But I'm really excited for this feature that I haven't released yet. And I'm still working out the bugs. Obviously, I have to fine tune my prompts because this is a couple prompts mixed together, and it's kind of why it takes a little while because there's a prompt to like rephrase your question, and there's a thing to like summarize the stuff based on the prompt so that it gets the pertinent details. And then there's a prompt to actually answer the question.
All right. So I don't know. I think Ishad's too polite to ask this question, but how much do you spend? Like, because I've got there's a number in my head of like when I make a completion and I do a full completion with tokenization, all that stuff. Like, there's a number in my head where I go, that probably cost this much, and I'm interested in like, because my theory is that because my tokenization is so small, my bill is like teeny tiny. Like everything is like fractions of a cent. So I'm wondering like what's are you eating into your bill a lot, or is it just especially with two classifications there?
It's actually not that bad because I'm not using the better models for some of that.
Got it.
Actually, the only one I'm using so there's the models you have access to when you're using the APIs with OpenAI is Text DaVinci, Text Curie, Text Babbage, Text Ada, and they have different things that they're better at. And Text DaVinci is the closest to ChatGPT's,
right?
Which is based on some instruct model. It also costs the most. It's 2 cents per 1,000 tokens, which they changed their pricing page a few times in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you noticed that. It went up to 3 cents per 1,000 and then down to 2. And I don't know. It's interesting.
The API also went up and down too. So that might have something to do with it. Like
it might. But I'm using the Text Curie model for a lot of that summarization.
Got it.
And so when it's summarizing these blocks of text of 1,000 to 4,000 characters, it's not a whole lot of money because the Text Curie model doesn't cost 2 cents per 1,000 tokens. It costs 0.002 cents.
Yeah. And that's kind of the like when I run my tests. So I run an automated test suite that like I'm not going to go put the good stuff in there, right? Like, so I downgrade it just like what you're talking about. Like I go down to like Babbage or Ada or something, and then I'm like, I don't care as long as I'm getting responses back. It doesn't matter if it's good, And then when I go live, like I back up to DaVinci 03. So yeah, that's interesting.
It's not for the use that I'm getting out of it right now. It's less than $1 a day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've got a Telegram message every day of how much money it costs me, and it's like I don't think I've ever gone over $2. Actually, though, I take that back. So the front page of Zembi, like if you load it, there's a little like blurb that says we do this and blah blah blah. That's from ChatGPT as well. Like that, I integrated it into little parts of the website. One day, I accidentally I turned off the in-memory caching because I was doing something in dev, and I forgot, and I and it went. And then what I had is I had one of those like HTTP pingers to make sure things stayed up, and it hit it like once every like 5 minutes, like for like all night, and so my bill was like $5 for that day. And it was like, well, at least I know it won't ever like go crazy because that's about as crazy as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think my OpenAI bill is less than $15 the last 2 months.
it took me 2 or 3 months to chew through the free $20 that they give you.
Oh,
so,
I went through that the first month.
Oh well.
But
Yeah.
then I was messing with fine tuning, not understanding how that
Right.
works,
Yeah.
and other things. So
yeah, if you if you're looking to try it out, like OpenAI gives you $20 for free, which is really neat because if you're just doing little tiny things, it's not gonna add up. It takes a while to chew through that. So yeah.
But there's a lot in here. So do you have any questions, Ishan?
I do have a lot of questions, but I'll. But yeah, but I'll take it offline with you guys.
No, come on. We've got we don't have time. Like let's do it. Let's hear it. I want to know.
No,
Okay.
just maybe
All right.
someday.
Maybe
will
someday. Sounds
plan
good.
to create something similar. So I do some amazing stuff that you and Jace been doing. So Jace again, we were just talking pre this session so about Jace's website.
Mhm.
So he has integrated AI there as well. So
Yeah, if you're curious, do you want to? Mind if I throw it on the screen?
So he's just.
I'm just so excited to share.
So it's also about time and money is one thing, but coming up with these ideas is another thing that I think is one not everyone can come up with. So coming up with unique things and.
Well, I'm
using
planning
our-
on monetizing.
Oh,
so-
sorry.
Yeah, I want to get to the point where it pays for itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're not familiar with news.jace.pro, that's what this is.
Shameless plug.
And also, like, if you have content that you write about or that you create that you would like in here, please just shoot me a message. And I'll add it to the list so that it gets, I'll add your feed. I prefer RSS feeds to the list and it'll get aggregated into it. But this content below these posts is really neat because I didn't write this and neither did the author. OpenAI wrote it. So when it ingests this data, I say, hey, does this thing have content that I can summarize? If so, do so, and then update my database with that summarization. Which is kind of neat.
It's so funny that you've gone to you and I have gone to the same place independently. Like it is so good at taking like a link, downloading the metadata from like a website or a blog post, or even like a YouTube article and coming up with like a little summary. It is so good at that. It's scary.
What's also crazy is I've done it with YouTube videos.
Yeah, YouTube videos are really good, especially if it's got a timeline. Oh, it does so well.
Well, yeah. So I'm using the transcription to build this, right? So, like, if you're not familiar with Justin Meadows, he's been doing a whole bunch of AI stuff as well.
Yep.
But in here, it just tells you like what he does, and this is not to take away views from anybody. This is just so it's more convenient to know what you're getting into. Because if you're like me, you're terrible rating titles. Like training paths, what does that mean? I have no idea. But let me read what this thing thought it meant.
Who is Britta?
And this is so accurate, right?
Oh yeah.
Britta, I don't know. She's somebody on ServiceNow.
Oh.
It's a ServiceNow article.
Oh, so, okay.
Right. But
developer, implementer.
It's very interesting because like also like I didn't tell it to translate in English.
Yeah, it does crazy things.
I didn't tell it to summarize in English. I just told it to summarize it.
Summarize, yeah. And they say it doesn't speak Japanese. I'm like, every time I've tried Japanese, it worked just fine. They're like English, Spanish, and French. I'm like, Japanese sounds pretty good too. But I don't know. I don't speak Japanese, so it might be terrible.
It's kind of interesting. These videos that don't have a transcription or don't have a thing, it turns out they don't have a transcription. Right? So I don't do anything to read that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
Awesome. All right. We're almost on the top of the hour though. We still have some time, but don't have any questions.
Kevin, do we have any questions in chat? Was there any? I didn't see anything.
I was monitoring. Yeah, I don't think we have any. We do have 8 or 9 viewers, which is I think good enough. So
yeah, that's good, man. This was fun.
Yeah.
I love talking about this stuff.
Yeah, it's
I could go for a while. It's just been nuts. Me and Mark, we talk privately and other things, and we still haven't. This is the most I think we've talked about it.
Well, and that's like someone's going to be like, well, why is Jace and Mark all hot? Like, why is everyone hot on Chrome extensions? It's like because Jace and Mark talk to each other and oh, I can do that with this thing. Oh, yeah, have you tried it with a Chrome extension? It's like, no. Oh, okay, I'll go try that. Right? Like that's how we all kind of end up. Like, we don't build anything in silos. That's why things start to kind of look similar.
Yeah.
I think it's just going crazy, right? Even for me, I haven't built a Chrome extension yet. Like maybe someday,
Don't do it.
It's
worse
not a
than
fun thing.
It's worse than app development. It's man.
Kevin is saying something about Firefox. I would love to make my extension work in Firefox, but I'm using CRX.js to make my extension, and they don't support Firefox yet. They're waiting for Manifest v3 to be totally implemented in Firefox, which was just announced last week.
Oh, see, I've got a cross-browser transpiler. I'll try, but I don't know. We'll see. Like it's supposedly I should just be able to hit build Firefox and it should all work, but we'll see.
So yours, does it build in Manifest version 3 or 2?
Right now it's 3 because I'm using the Chrome because it's Chrome and I don't really care. And that it was like do v3 and I'm like, all right, whatever. But we'll see. I don't know. I haven't learned anything about the Firefox extension. I think the first thing I'm going to learn is how to downgrade to v2 for Manifest. So
I don't know if I have monitoring on my blog and stuff, like the quantity of people that are using Firefox versus Chrome. I just don't think it's worth it yet to do it because it's like 8% or 6%.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I that's I'm going to monetize first. Monetize first. Gotta get paid.
Kali is asking me, are you building something? Not yet.
He's running the streams just like you, Kelly.
Yeah. So I'm also in the process of writing a book. So hopefully it goes through perfect.
ServiceNow.
Yes, ServiceNow.
Upcoming author.
Oh, got my.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that in your background.
Yeah. Goran and Tim and
Tim, yeah.
Your boom arm, I think, is in the way of the top shelf.
Here, I'm sorry. What?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's nice. Is that 3 books or 4? That's only 3 books. But yeah, nice.
It's 2.
Oh, you got Tim's and Goran's, and what's that thing?
Tim's and Goran's, and then it's Boba Fett.
Oh, I thought that was another book on the next shelf.
No, it's Boba Fett.
Oh, my mistake.
I had to nerd out a little bit, but yeah, it's just a Boba Fett. Yeah,
awesome.
Very cool.
All right, I think if we don't have any questions, we can probably. How do we end it? I'm just.
We got to do. Are we gonna do our sign offs? Are we gonna?
Yeah, sure.
Where can you find us? Yeah, you can. So I'll do. You can find me, Phoenix Dev, at anything right here. PhoenixDev.me, at Phoenix Dev on all my socials, LinkedIn, especially. Connect. Let me know because this is
LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
Twitter.
Yeah, you're good about like retweeting me on Twitter and all that stuff, but like LinkedIn, like man, there's something about LinkedIn. Like everybody, like LinkedIn is where everybody's at. So yeah.
Yes, LinkedIn. I think if you are creating something, or the LinkedIn has got the most traction on things. So yeah,
agree.
Well, Jace.pro, right? That's where most of my stuff is. But I am also on LinkedIn. This week on Thursday, me and Callie are doing an event. So feel free to come on there at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Central on Thursday. I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
nice.
And check out my extension, ScribeMonster. It works when you log in.
Yeah, and also Jace's news website is
news.jace.pro.
So, and yeah, myself Ishan, you can find me on the LinkedIn, YouTube, Ishan Shur. It's my full name that's coming up on the screen. That on every platform. That's my username as well.
Convenient.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mark. Cool. Thank you, Jace. Thank you for joining.
Thanks for putting this together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Same to you. Bye. Have a good night. Bye.